Ah, good evening. Fancy seeing you here. I have a question for you. Have you ever had those days where you feel like there's literally nothing to do? Well, that's one example. Like days where it doesn't matter what you own or what you could do. Because you're simply too lazy to care. But no matter how many games you own, there is still nothing that really appeals to you. I've been starting to feel this way recently, so I went on a mission to rediscover one of the most underrated gaming handhelds of all time. I just have to find it somehow. And fellas, this console is more enjoyable than you think. Oh, wait, damn. What is that? Ah, there it is. The PS Vita. This was Sony's attempt to dominate the handheld console market, taking the PSP to another level. But as we all know, good things must come to an end, and it came a little too early for the PS Vita. This was meant to be the ultimate portable gaming machine, but ended up flopping the first month with low interest and lacking sales. Numbers aside, this is actually the most enjoyable handheld gaming experience I've had all year. And considering this console came out more than 10 years ago, that alone says a lot. This is my first time using the PS Vita since 2013. I used to own it as a small fella. I remember playing a couple of games and then before the blink of a second, the PS4 arrived and we got one on launch day. The Vita got left behind as the PS4 was much more interesting with GTA 5, Knack, Trials Fusion, etc. So the Vita ended up being sold, and that is something I deeply regret. Partly because of prices have gone up, but also I completely misunderstood what the console is capable of. And I do believe we need to change the scenery for this one. Alrighty, so after using it again, I kinda get it. This is not just any ordinary console, it's a vibe. The UI is charming as ever, yet so simple, and not to mention bubbly gorgeous. The battery easily lasts for several hours and the Vita gives me a whole new experience to enjoy gaming. And the best part? It doesn't really matter whether I'm home chilling or out on the fly to game. And something that I'm really happy that the Vita has is actually the touchpad. It literally lets you put your fingers into the world. That said, some haptics would be nice, but otherwise it's rock solid. Still amazes me, still just as fun. But sadly, most games didn't fully tap into all the cool features the Vita had to offer, which is a massive bummer. So if you're picking up a Vita, then one of the games that I'll recommend big time is going to be Tearaway. Or to put it in another way, it's the creme de la creme Vita experience, as it uses all the Vita's inbuilt functions, which gives you an experience only the Vita can provide. Anyways, having acquired both the Vita 1000 and 2000 as of today, everything has been a pleasant experience on both models. More on the models in just a minute, because this is quite an important factor. As you might know, owning a Vita isn't exactly cheap. There's the hardware often going for at least $100, then there's the Sony's own memory cards giving you a whopping 16GB of storage for $40 or something like that. And finally, the game prices are simply out of the sky. So, quite an expense for such old hardware. Luckily, it is easier than ever to mod. Homebrewing, a large game library, custom themes, you name it. You want God of War? There you go. Tearaway? Easy. A shitty Black Ops experience? Actually, I'll pass on that. Modding a PS Vita is almost something everyone should consider doing, since it's never been simpler and you'll basically get 50 times more out of your console. Enjoy PS1 games, PSP games with the PSP UI, Nintendo emulation, So mobile games, and of course the whole library of PS Vita games. It is literally endless entertainment that fits straight into your pocket. Also, playing every game digitally means you can opt for the SD to Vita, which is an SD card converter that goes in the game slot for your PS Vita. It only costs about 7 smackaroos, and then simply pick a micro SD card of your choice. So in the end, you can slash down the price quite a bit, leaving the actual hardware as the only major expense. So make sure to comment below if you want to see a more detailed video about modding the PS Vita, as I'm all up for it. Oh, and if you remember the horrendous download speeds on the PS3, well, then you'll miss those speeds when downloading something on the Vita. It is unfortunately a true test of patience. But at least, loading times in the games I tried aren't that bad. So there are two different models, the 1000 and the 2000, also called the Slim, and the differences, well, they aren't huge. They all share the same specs, features and layout. On the 1000, we'll call it the regular one, you have an OLED screen, whereas on the Slim you have an LCD screen. The OLED is super nice when gaming in dark environments because the black colors are deep. The resolution is the same on both models, and while it's not the crispiest, it's definitely not the worst, considering its age. Okay, well, on second thought, the more I look at it, the screen is actually pretty fantastic. Now, the Slim is lighter, obviously, and it has a micro USB port compared to the proprietary connector on the regular model. Oh, and about the size, it can be seen as both an advantage or a disadvantage, in my opinion. It is smaller and lighter than, for example, the Switch and PS Portal, especially the Slim, but being too portable, it unfortunately sacrifices a comfy grip for long sessions, especially if you got average to big-sized hands. But on the bright side, the speakers are good, and if you're not satisfied with that, then... that's right! It's an ancient artifact! So, if you're wondering which one to get, then I'd say the Slim is the most enjoyable for longer sessions. Me personally prefer its form factor. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but micro USB is more convenient. And yeah, OLED makes for greater visuals, but I don't really mind the LCD because it still looks great. I'd say get the one you find for a good price, because I can almost guarantee that you'll be satisfied with either version. You have to remember that these portable devices aren't meant to be solely designed with power and performance in mind. They are meant for delivering a fun and enjoyable experience, such as adding a rear touchpad or not one but 2 cameras to the console. Yeah, that's right, the Vita has 2 cameras if you haven't noticed already. Although the cameras are pretty shit, but they're still quirky and fun in some ways. And all of this is exactly what makes the PS Vita the PS Vita. In the end, I missed the Vita so much that I got completely distracted and started playing it while I was supposed to be working on this video. I mean, priorities, right? The Vita is an underdog providing a blast even years later. If you never tried it, or it's been sitting on a shelf collecting dust, give it another go. It's such a relief to play these casual games instead of getting annoyed with garbage teammates on Overwatch or something like that.
För helvete, vi är fan skåningar. Kaffe och bulle till fika, sen pärlor och köttbullar.
The same can be said for the PS3, which you can check out in the middle of the screen to see why it's still impressive. So fellas, I'll see you in that video. Goodbye!